Holy shit. All right, what we have going on here, it's time to stretch the pig. I've had this car for 25 plus years. Anyway, she's for some upgrades. Soon to have new axles, hopefully. Putting some JT Rubicon axles under her. And stretching the body and the frame. I might be doing it differently than most people, simply because I want to cut it and retain the factory rear end look. So I'm going to stretch the tub roughly in here, right behind the B-pillar. Add 15 inches, so it will be a 108 wheelbase, and the body will be unlimited body length. So that's the goal. So far I have cleaned all the inside out. Well, when I say cleaned, I mean taken all everything that was in here out, as well as gone under the car, made sure everything was clear, and we are preparing to scribe the line and make the cut. So my goal with this rebuild on my old car, 97 TJ by the way, is to simply give me a little more hill climbability, increase the wheelbase, should help with the overall wheeling. It will be sitting on 39s, been sitting on 35s for about 20 years or so. And so I'd just like to increase the off-road prowess, if you will, and try to keep up with the Joneses. Everybody's cutting them in half, so why not do that myself? What I can say is that I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done anything like this before. I'm not a mechanic. I have a welder. That doesn't mean I'm a welder. I have a welder. And I have some cutoff wheels and Sawzall and random tools that hopefully will be enough to get this all taken care of. It's going to be an experience, and I'll do it in my own personal 2-car garage, so there's not a lot of extra space, and it's going to be fun, I think. So far, I've only been working on the car for 3 or 4 hours, stripping everything out of it, and collectively anyway, it's been over a couple of days, so we should be able to, I think we're getting close to ready to cut this thing in half. So far underneath the car, I've obviously removed the drive shaft, simply to get out of my way. I've disconnected the emergency brake cables, because this bracket was going to be pretty much where the cut will be. I didn't want to accidentally cut it in half from the top. My air tank will stay where it is. The exhaust and most everything else that I can see, I believe, is attached to the frame, so hopefully it will stay. I need to remove the body mounts. I figure I would do all of that after the body's been cut, keep it all stable. The end goal will be to create a new stinger boom, obviously an nth degree stinger boom, and a full nth degree suspension on this car. I will create a new stinger boom for the JT housing, which is going to be completely different, and then I will still have the torque arm, which is the goal. Torque arm is very beneficial on trail and on the street. This car hasn't really seen the street in a good number of years. It used to be one of our demo cars when I was with nth degree, customer show car, if you will. We'd take it on test drives and drove beautifully, but over the years of all the abuse and lack of maintenance, it's slowly gotten less than happy on the street. So we're going to take care of that as best we can, and overall, soon to be, hopefully soon, 15 inches longer. So as I mentioned earlier, my goal is to retain the factory wheel well and stretch the tub. I'm going to leave roughly a ½ an inch of this flange so the new floor section can lay onto that. and I'm going to cut the fender well. I'm going to cut the fender well so that it's flat with this surface all the way around. So it'll be flat along here, and this will turn into a little shelf, if you will. Once the tub goes back, I'll be able to fill that in with a flat piece of stock versus, trying to shape or cut the shape of the new fender well in or completely replace the fender wells. I like the stock look, and I think that it'll be good. It'll allow me to still keep this hump. Theoretically, put my spare tire back here still, which is where I had it mounted previously. Keeping the spare tire on the floor or as close to the floor as possible. Keeps the weight low, doesn't hang it off the back like a tire carrier bumper or something along those lines. Helps out in those hill climbs, and keeps the center of gravity as low as possible, but still having what I feel I need with me. I like to have a spare tire with me. I know it's debatable these days with products like glue tread and things like that are on the market, but I still think it's a good idea. It doesn't mean that I won't carry glue tread as well, because though the spare tire will be with me, it will be pretty buried. Therefore, it'll be difficult to get out, and we'll only take it out when I absolutely need to. But when I need to, I'll be able to. So that's my goal. My thoughts with the cage. Most people would take it out, cut it off, start over with something new, or utilizing the back half of an LJ cage. I think that I'm going to cut it roughly here, and I think that I'm going to splice it with the extra 15 inches of tube in the center. Because this is a budget build, just do it myself and do it on as much of a budget as possible. So I will hopefully be able to save some material or some money simply by getting the materials that I may need versus trying to build a whole new cage. I don't have the abilities to do any tubing bending at this point. And hopefully I can stay away from needing to go buy a tube bender. That doesn't sound like it'll be good for the budget to do anything like that. But this is going to be a fun project, and time to get back to work. All right, I think we're getting close to time to cut this thing. I've laid some marks down. The edge of this tape, this edge is 5/8 of an inch back from the waterfall or the kick down, whatever you want to call it, into the footwell. And I've ran the laser line all the way across over to that B-pillar, and I plan to cut it down to that line and straight up through the B-pillar, retaining the B-pillar because I want to keep that structure in the front. Same thing over here. So my horizontal lines are step one, and we'll see how the rest of it goes. So again, following this edge of the tape is the flat portion of the tub cut, and then following the lines should be where I want it to be. Well, here goes nothing. One cut done. Let's see if how this one goes. It might need a little bit of a sawzall to get to the back corner, but Another cut done, well, partially done. And we'll see how this one goes. Offhand, so we'll fingers crossed. Hard to find that angle, that even spot, but what's done is done. So I was trying to figure out how to transfer the cut line to the outside of the body, and I decided to use this really long, fairly small drill bit and punch through, if you can see that, punch through right where I wanted the cut to be, and then I'm going to follow this seam line up. So I punch the hole at the top and I punch the hole at the bottom where it's straight, so I can connect those dots, and then I'll connect the other two dots, and then I'll cut it from the outside. So I should be able to put a tape line down and see how that works out. Probably a bit better angle. I hit the holes with the sanders so we get the burrs off, and I can clean up the surface. I should be able to follow those dots with some tape, connect the dots, and then I won't have much left to go once I get below this hole to match up with this cut, and that's my goal. We'll see how that works out. Maybe I'll just probably continue this all the way down. I have to locate where I want the bottom to come out. I should be able to do that fairly easy. I think I can see up in here, see where that all meets, where all of this meets, and I want to stay forward of this inner fender wall. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. So after thinking about it for a minute, I decided that I'm going to take this line and I'm going to continue it to where it intersects here, and then everything above that, all of the tub, the inner fender will all move back. Then my goal is to utilize this surface as the top of my shelf, and of course the frame and tub will all be moved back then, so that this surface will come down and lay flat on that shelf, but 15 inches aft. So I'm not going to cut it all the way down here. I'm going to cut it down to where it intersects with this line, basically, and then that's going to be capped moving back. Theoretically, that will continue to be here, at least for now, until I figure out what else I need to do. Alright, so I took some tape and I marked it straight down two top holes, and then it takes a little dog, and then it takes another little dog. So my plan is to cut that line and then probably stop there and take a look at what the rest of this looks like. I know it gets pretty thin. There isn't much space between this wall, if there's any space actually, but between this wall and the B-pillar itself, or the B-pillar of the roll cage. So maybe some slow going cutting wise. just try and make it as flat as I can, and so that I can cover it up with that inner flat piece. So wish me luck, and we'll see how this one goes. So that seemed to work out fairly well on the driver's side, so I'm going to do the same thing on the passenger side. Start off with kind of digging the caulking or body filler, whatever that is in the corner there in the factory. Drill really slow so I don't break the bit. It's the only one I have of this size, so I'm trying to be pretty gentle with it. I needed to last a few more holes, so let's go ahead and get going on that, and I'll bring you along once I get towards the top. I'm just finishing up this top hole. And I have three holes. I realized on the driver's side that the two bottom holes are pretty much close enough in line that any little bit of welding is going to be able to fill that in. Punched it through like that, and now I have three holes that I can run a tape line on the outside and connect the dots. Hopefully it works as well on the passenger side as it did on the driver's. Alright, I think I've come to a pretty good stopping point for day one. Got all the cuts done. At least I believe I have all the cuts done. Down through here, across, and down through into here. Same on both sides. Those dots theoretically line up. I think that you can see the cuts there. Across, over to that side. I think those all line up too. The tub seems to be pretty shaky. It's obviously I still have the body mounts on it. Obviously still have the roll cage attached. So it's not like it's going to flop around at all. But as far as the material, it looks like it's all pretty movie. I think that's clear through. And yeah, pretty good progress for day one. Fairly satisfied with it. I've been working at it for a few hours. Let's see, I don't know, it's probably about 1 o'clock. And although I got up way too early this morning, it doesn't mean that I've been working out here the whole time. Took a couple hours off, but kind of off and on, more on than off in the last 4 or 5 hours. But started about 3 o'clock this morning. Super hot here today, so I wanted to get an early start. And of course, you know, the mine squirrels have been churning on this thing, so I wanted to get going on it. So when I woke up, I kind of formulated a game plan, and I think I'm getting her done. So far, as far as tools, I used my drill with that long drill bit. I've used a Sawzall. I've used my cutting wheel. I haven't resorted to a plasma cutter yet, and I think that that's probably the safest way to do it. Is to not use a plasma cutter, because I'm not super skilled with a plasma cutter, and things get a little willy-nilly sometimes, and that's not what I want. These are willy-nilly enough with a Sawzall and a cutting wheel. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for today. We'll see what the next episode looks like. We'll see. Hopefully I can pull the body bolts out, get that roll cage cut. Theoretically, those 4 bolts and 2 cuts shouldn't take too long to be able to pull the back half of this thing off and see what it really looks like. Hopefully it's not super messy. Take care.